Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to show you how you can set up the MySQL server and how you can connect from Lambda to it. So first of all, what do you need to create the MySQL server? You need username, password, hostname and database name. And to be able to retrieve those, so first of all, you need the MySQL server. Luckily, the AWS provides such service by, if you type the RDS, it's Relational Database Service, and this is a built-in database service by AWS. And I'm going to set up one so you can see how it works. So first thing, as you can see under the RDS, you can see the number of database instances. So you need to set up one instance. To do that, you use the Create Database button and you choose your engine. I normally choose MySQL or Maria database. So let's go ahead and let's choose the latest one. Now this is important part. If you choose the template, it's either production or test. It's really only the performance difference. So if you want a high production, high performance, like super fast MySQL server, use any of those. If not, if you just work for test or your development purposes or your own purposes, use the test. As you can see, here is the cost per month, and yeah. You see it right. It's $850 for 1 month of server to work. So I will show you how to get it cheaper. So switch to dev test and you can already see how it has gone down and it's a little bit better. Another thing you can do is you can use the burstable database instance class. So this simply is making the server a little bit weaker, but again, if you only work for test or you have small databases, you really don't need like a huge server. So change the burstable one and choose the cheapest one to go ahead with, let's say, $50 per month. There's another thing you can do that is not recommended by AWS, but it's another, if you wanna get it a little bit cheaper, you can change the storage to magnetic disk. But in this case, you need to make sure you do a lot of backups. So I suggest you to go ahead with GP2 because it's not a big difference. You can switch to magnetic, but it's only like a few dollars difference. And it comes from a storage. So let's switch back to GP2. And let me see if we can change this 10 gigs. Yeah, it's already better. So for $30 per month, you can go ahead with this one. Okay, so next, this is database instance identifier. This is the identifier. You will see your database in the list. So let's call it main database. And this is not the username. It's simply how you see it in your RDS list. Let's change the credentials to main database or AWS main test database. Let's see if this one works. Yeah. Now the password. I will let the system generate the password so you can see where you receive it. Otherwise, you can simply provide the password, random generated password here, and if not, I will use this one. Instance class I already told about. Storage, we leave it as it is. We don't want auto scaling because I want to control if my database starts to scale up, like why it's happening, and because 10 gigs is a massive amount of data, so you should be control why your database is growing. Let's not create a standby instance and let's leave everything as it is because I want to show you how to fix some connectivity errors if something happens, like if you're not able to connect to your instance. So we are ready. Let's create a database. Okay, main database, and this one requires these letters or characters. So username is now changed. Username is changed here. Okay, let's create it. So now while it's creating, you can see already that it's setting up the server or the database. And while it's setting up, I'm not able to connect, but what I can do, I can get the password. So if you click here, view credential details, you're able to get the master password. So now we already have 2 out of 4. So we have the username and password to be able to connect to MySQL server. While it's setting up, another thing we can do, we can set the security group. Security group is a bunch of rules that allows the AWS firewall to either reject or approve the connection. So to do that, let's go to AC2. On the left-hand side, you will see the security group option. And let's create a new one. Let's call it MySQL Connection Security Group, and the description for allowing SQL connection. It's really for information purposes only, but make sure you identify that you are able to identify the connection security group from the list if given. Inbound rule is now who can access to your future server or your future database. I will make it right now open for the world, just to test if everything works. But in your case, you should be make it or tailor to your own needs. Whole world MySQL connection. And outbound traffic is, it can stay as it is. You can switch to all TCP anywhere. Whole world outgoing traffic. Now I'm ready to create a security group. So basically the security group allowed me to connect from anywhere in the world and return my results, my MySQL results to anywhere in the world. Let's go back to RDS. I will talk more about the security in my next videos. So make sure you don't leave it as it is. Just follow my next tutorials as well. And as we can see, the database is already set up. It's now doing some configuration. So let me see. I might be able, yeah. So I can already see the endpoint for the server. So this is your host name. This is how you connect your server. This is the main host name. I will actually move it here. So I have host name, username, password, and now I need the database name. To get the database name, I will use Haiti, which is a wonderful tool for that one. Let me remove this connection. Let me create a new one. So first I will give the connection a name, AWS demo database. And I will need the host name to connect to it. Username and password. Okay, I can save it. If you try to connect now, you will get a timeout. And that is for two of the reasons. So first of all, the security group is not allowing me to enter inbound. And the other one is that the database is not publicly accessible. So to make it publicly accessible and to change the security group that we created in previous step, I need to wait a little bit. I need to wait while the server is ready. So I think we are maybe only a minute away from the server being available. So let's give like another minute to it. As you can see, the connection failed, like I said, because it's not yet publicly accessible and we need to do a few steps. So we have created this security group for it that we just need to apply, and we need to make it publicly accessible. So it's now changed from backup to modifying. We are very close now for the server to go live. Okay, what we can do in meanwhile, we can go back to Lambda and prepare everything to connect. So let's go to Lambda. And I have my test function. So let's use it in a simple, plain way just to show you how the connection works. So MySQL connect. Now you need the four of the things. You need host name, which you will get here. Username. Password. And database name. Okay. So let's go back here. So now the main database is available and I'm ready to use it, but I will show you how you can change the publicly accessible and the security group. So you use this modify button here and you need to scroll down a little bit. Once the page is done with loading. Yeah, it's a little bit slow in the beginning because it's still setting up some of the things. Anyway, you scroll down to connectivity, and this is how you can fix most of the issues with connecting to MySQL database in Amazon RDS. So first of all, you need to choose the default security group and change it to your own. So you have MySQL connection security group that has the access allowed. And then you need to click here, additional connection configuration, to make it publicly accessible. And you can, of course, change the port, and you can build everything up to your own custom port. But again, for now, I will keep it as it is to simplify everything. If I click on continue, the system asks me if I want to apply the modifications now, immediately, or in the next scheduled maintenance, which is a week from now. So we want to do it immediately. And it takes like about a minute to make those changes. And after that, I am actually able to connect to the server. So let me wait a little bit while it starts the modifying. It takes about a minute to start modifying and write everything to its configurations. So as you can see, it started modifying the main database. And what we can do in meanwhile. So you see, it has pending task. It's adding my MySQL security group and it's removing the default group. You can see the same one here. It will remove these two guys here and it will add these two lines. And another thing it will do is it will create the database publicly accessible. So let me refresh. Let's see if the work is done. Not yet, but you can already see how the publicly accessible is changed. This has changed from no to yes, so it means that if we fix the security group access, it will be publicly accessible. Let me refresh one more time. Still adding. Let me see what else I need to do. Okay, what's the database? Let's use main database as a name for the database. And let me see here. Yeah. So as you can see, I was able to connect to this instance. So in backend, it did its job. It created the access for me. So the modification was completed. And you can see how the server is active, security group is active, and I have successfully created the connection to this database. So next thing you want to do is you want to create database called main AWS test. You can choose the correlation you want, UTF or whatever you need. Here's a long list you can use. And let me create it. So here's our database. We can improve the connection details by adding the database name. And now if I connect, I see this database only. And here will be my tables. So I can create a new table and so on. And to be able to use it from the function, I will use the same, for now, the same hostname, username, password, and database name. And let's see. Let's see what this one gives us. Yeah, so you can see maybe this one shows a little bit better, but I was already receiving the okay, let's use like that. I will show you what you see here. So it shows that the connection is object. And now I can, once I have established the connection, I can make the queries to it. So for example, connection query, and if I make this connection, if I make this query, I should be, yep, so I can see that this result, this query gave me one row back, and I can also do this. and I can see how it works. So guys, for now this pretty much concludes my tutorial. I'm going to delete this database now. It was just to show you how it works, how you can set up your MySQL. I hope I achieved in this video what I wanted to show you. And let me remove it now. So, delete me. And I will remove it. Okay guys, so thanks a lot for watching, subscribe and wait for my next videos.